for 438 days. That is how long José Salvador Alvarenga spent alone on the Pacific Ocean. No engine, no radio, no rescue coming. Just a 7-meter fiberglass boat, an empty horizon, and a body slowly consuming itself. What he did to survive would push the known limits of human endurance at sea further than any documented case in modern history. In November 2012, Alvarenga was an experienced deep-sea fisherman working out of Costa Azul, a small coastal village in Chiapas, Mexico. He was 37 years old, originally from El Salvador. He had been fishing these waters for years and knew the Pacific's moods. His boss arranged a 2-day shark fishing trip. The boat, a small, open-hulled fiberglass panga, about 7 meters long, an outboard motor, basic provisions, no cabin, no GPS. Joining him was a young, inexperienced crewmate, 22-year-old Ezequiel Córdoba. It was only his second deep-water trip. They launched before dawn, heading roughly 75 miles offshore to reach productive fishing grounds. The plan was simple: 2 days out, fill the cooler, come home. They never came home. A northern storm, a system Alvarenga had not anticipated, hit while they were far offshore. Massive swells, driving rain, winds that made navigation almost impossible. Alvarenga radioed his boss on shore. He was told to turn back, but the storm overwhelmed the small outboard motor. Waves flooded the engine compartment. The motor died. Without power, the panga became a piece of debris, moving only where the current and wind pushed it. Within hours, the storm dragged them far beyond any shipping lane, far beyond any search zone anyone on shore would think to look. A search was conducted. Alvarenga's boss alerted authorities. Boats went out looking. They found nothing. After several days, the search was called off. José Salvador Alvarenga and Ezequiel Córdoba were presumed dead. But they were not dead. They were drifting west and slightly north, pushed by the Pacific's North Equatorial Current into open ocean. Thousands of miles of open water ahead. No land, no traffic, nothing. The two men had lost their catch, their bait, most of their fresh water, and their engine. What remained was the boat's hull, a few containers, and whatever they could take from the sea with their bare hands. The immediate crisis was water. Without fresh water, death comes in 3 to 5 days at sea. The tropical sun accelerates dehydration brutally. Alvarenga collected rainwater using every available container. When rain didn't come, he drank turtle blood and small amounts of his own urine, a measure that only delays dehydration and carries risks. Food came from the ocean. He caught fish with his hands, small triggerfish and other species that sheltered beneath the boat's shadow. He caught sea turtles when he could, eating the meat raw, drinking the blood. He caught seabirds, boobies that landed on the boat to rest. He grabbed them by the feet, killed them, ate them raw. Everything was raw. There was no fire, no cooking, no preservation. Escalation, Córdoba's death. Ezequiel. Córdoba could not adapt. The young crewmate refused to eat raw birds and turtle. His body weakened rapidly. He became delirious. According to Alvarenga's account, Córdoba died approximately 4 to 6 weeks into the drift. Alvarenga described speaking to Córdoba's body for days before finally putting him into the ocean. He has said this was the lowest point, the moment he nearly chose to follow. He considered suicide. He has spoken about this openly, but something stopped him. He later described thinking of his daughter back in El Salvador, a girl he had not seen in years. He chose to keep catching birds, keep collecting rain, keep breathing. He was now completely alone. Weeks became months. Alvarenga developed routines: wake at dawn, scan for ships, hunt, collect water, rest beneath the bow to escape the sun. His body changed, muscle wasted, his joints swelled, his skin blistered, healed, blistered again. Jellyfish stings, salt sores. He counted no days. He had no calendar. Time became weather: wet season, dry season, storm, calm. He later estimated he saw roughly 30 ships during the entire drift, all of them too far away. None of them saw him. A 7-meter panga sits less than a meter above the waterline. Against Pacific swells, it is invisible beyond a few hundred meters. He had no flare, no mirror, no signal of any kind. Month after month, the current carried him west, across the widest uninterrupted stretch of ocean on Earth. By the final months, Alvarenga's body was failing. He was severely anemic. His legs were swollen with edema. His thinking was slow. His reflexes diminished. He later described periods where he could not stand, periods where he lay in the bilge water at the bottom of the boat, too weak to sit up, catching rain with his mouth open. If the current had taken him even slightly differently, a few degrees south, he would have missed every atoll in the Marshall Islands chain. The next landfall would have been thousands of miles further. There would have been no survival. On January 30th, 2014, after an estimated 438 days adrift, Alvarenga saw something change. The color of the water shifted. He saw coconut palms. He saw land. He was approaching Ebon Atoll, one of the most remote atolls in the Marshall Islands. Population roughly 700 people. His boat had no power. The reef was between him and shore. Currents pushed against him. Alvarenga made a decision. Despite his wasted body, despite months of near immobility, he went into the water. He swam. He fought the current for what he later described as hours until he reached the shore. He staggered onto the beach, swollen, bearded, sunburned beyond recognition, barely able to walk, and found a small dwelling. A local couple found him. They did not speak the same language, but they understood immediately that this man was dying and needed help. Alvarenga was taken to Ebon's basic medical facility, then evacuated to Majuro, the capital of the Marshall Islands, for treatment. His condition confirmed prolonged starvation and exposure, severe edema, anemia, muscle atrophy, organ stress, but alive. When his identity was confirmed and his story reached the outside world, it drew both astonishment and skepticism. Oceanographers modeled the drift. The Pacific currents across that period aligned almost exactly with a path from coastal Mexico to the Marshall Islands. The timeline was physically plausible. Medical professionals confirmed his condition was consistent with long-term survival on raw protein and intermittent rainwater. No credible alternative explanation was produced. Alvarenga's account has been broadly accepted by maritime survival researchers as the longest-known case of survival adrift at sea in modern recorded history. What Alvarenga's case reveals is not superhuman ability. It is the compounding power of small, repeated decisions. Drink the blood, catch the bird, collect the rain, do it again, every single day, for over 400 days. When Ezequiel Córdoba could not make those decisions, he died within weeks. Alvarenga made them every morning, not because he had hope. He has said he had no hope of rescue. He survived because he refused, on each individual day, to stop performing the actions that kept him alive. 438 days, 6,700 miles, one small boat, one man's refusal to stop.